It's another day, another dollar. Neal Brown soft, Pat McAfee saying it, and I ain't mad about it. Let's go.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up? Welcome back in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby. I got shampoo in my eyes. No, seriously, I got shampoo in my eyes. My eyes are on fire, dude. Can y'all tell? I took a shower right before I jumped on. I just needed it. Felt weird, felt dirty. And, oh, my God, dude. I got shampoo in my eyes, and it's the worst kind. The tea tree, the kind that's used for dandruff. So, and then I'm one of those weirdos that I, like, rub my deodorant in with my hands. And I'm, like, multitasking, and I'm like, oh, my eyes hurt. And then I put deodorant in my eyes, too. I'm like, ah! So, yeah, I'm off to a great start. But this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by, let me check. I'm all discombobulated. FanDuel, guys. Right now, it's almost football season, as you guys know. It's around the corner. Visit FanDuel apps today to start your planning for your bets. Do it. Don't do it now. Do it yesterday. Thanks, you guys, for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Thank you very much, brother man. I don't know why it didn't change. Let's get that fixed, though. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes, I know why. I was having a technical issue right before I came on. Basically, I don't know why. Just randomly, it just switches. I don't know why, but thank you, Nathan. So what we're talking about here today is Pat McAfee tells it like it is with Neal Brown. We got God in the facility. I know not everybody on here is Christians, but somebody sent me something that really warmed my heart today, and I want to play it because I think, in a day and age where whatever you believe, people are so offended by everything, whether it's your beliefs, your political views, whatever it is. I just think it's a good sign. And I'm not saying Neal Brown would have done this. I do believe he would have done this, but Rich Rod let somebody get baptized, man, and that's just an awesome thing. We're going to watch that video. An awesome thing, right? Whether you believe in it or not, like I said, I've been both in my life, right? So I can honestly say I know what it's like on either side of the fence for that. But that's really not what this first segment's about. Let's get over here to Pat McAfee and listen to what he had to say today on his show, talking about our buddy Neal Brown.
So, what Rich Rod, your former coach and friend, is a maestro of tempo, correct?
Oh yeah.
Like that is one of his things. He's one of the godfathers of tempo, really, and everything. So I was told reliably, Pat, that they will now bring 8 ball boys on the road with them this year, just to get the ball in quicker, because 4 wasn't enough for Rich.
Well, I think if you have the right 4 is enough. I think what Rich saw was, we got to turn over a lot of things around here, okay? And if you saw what happened in practice the other day, that would be that department. Yeah. So if you saw, that right there, you talk about ball boy, that's equipment manager in the stripes there. He didn't spot the ball accurately. I think he's probably on the hot seat if I had to guess. That guy's got eyes on the – because Rich Rod said, hey, we need competition everywhere. Mm-hmm. Ball boys.
Yep.
You're talking every single part. You talk trainers. We're talking nutritionists.
Yeah, chefs.
We're talking everything. Everything in the building. We need some competition because, boy, how was running here before I got here? A little bit different, a little softer. Now.
There it is, right? I know it's a little bit it's not a direct shot at Neal Brown, but it is, right? How was it before I got here? It's a little softer, right? Let's listen to that again.
Because, boy, how was running here before I got here? A little bit different, a little softer. Now we're going to try to be the hardest program in all of United States of America football. And I'll tell you what, if you're tough, West Virginia's the place for you. Mm-hmm. And we're going to find you. But I'll tell you what, Arizona State, BYU, there is – you start –
So that's really all it is. It's not some heat-seeking missile or anything like that where he's like, Neal Brown, you're soft. But I thought it would be a cool way to kind of jump into – toss that off there. I guess mine and me and Dylan's stuff was showing. But So that gave me an idea for this segment because we're just, we're just shooting the crap, right? It's 10 o'clock at night. So how about 10 reasons this program, as Pat would say, is going to be more hard edged this upcoming year? I've got 10 pretty good reasons if you're ready. So number one, tempo and conditioning. Rich Rodriguez has a high tempo no-huddle offense, right? Going to demand players be in elite physical shape. That's for sure. So that's going to bring into the combination of mental resilience and physical resilience, because the relentless pace, the way they play, it's going to wear down opponents, which is something that we kind of didn't do in Neal Brown's offense as much, with a slow, methodical, sometimes less aggressive scheme, right? What about history? Rich Rod has built his entire legacy at West Virginia and other places with a gritty, hard-nosed kind of style, and has had some teams that have thrived on physicality, underdog mentality, consistently ranking high in rushing and turnover margins, and, unlike the inconsistent toughness under Neal Brown. The mentality and the culture shift, I think, is another thing, right? We just kind of alluded to that a little bit, but it's a complete overhaul to what was kind of blue collar. It was a little blue collar under Neal, but not full blue collar. It's like you never go full Riri. Well, now you never go full blue collar unless you're under Rich Rod. How about that? So there's that. So I think the intense, demanding practices just day after day are going to build some toughness, and he's talking about live sessions with the quarterbacks, full contact drills, and immediate corrections for moments of softness. This is quoting Rich Rod, right? So that's number 4. Number 5, how about non-football distractions? The ban on that. No TikTok dances. You got to be tough to put down the TikTok in this day and age, apparently. And he said, look, you either want to be great at football or not. If you got time to dance and exercise that way, you got time to be studying your film or whatever. What about strategic staff hires? I know this isn't necessarily a direct correlation, but it could have an indirect one because of the staff members, right? So Zach Alley, guys like that can bring out an edge in other guys on the roster. Rich Rod can't do it all himself, and he's assembled himself the best coaching staff in the history of our school, I think, in my opinion. It's definitely up there. Like Zach Alley, Gabe Franklin, obviously. Bicknell is another one. If he had Trickett on this staff, it would really be – it would have to be right there, right? The emphasis on accountability and also production. Rewards come from on-field results, period. Really, like he said, success is best shared together and earned together. But what about rewards? Well, that's going to come from, you got it, your own personal successes, not promises. There's zero tolerances for laziness. There are wrong routes that you can run within the program that are going to get you in the doghouse. And you can even literally run the wrong route in practice, and that's going to get called out right now. It's going to instill discipline, no excuses mindset that rebuilds the entitlement issues that I think I've been told that we're under Brown to an extent. We heard him talk about it in the press conference the other day, right? I did a show on it. There was a couple guys that said, hey, look, last year there were guys here that were all about me, and this team is more about we. So I know every team says that, but I do believe it with this team to an extent. What about on-field and just straight-up physical toughness, right? I mean, we've talked about what breeds that, but what about when you got it? How do you impose that onto other people, right? Because he openly calls out societal toughness, softness. He talks about physical toughness and pushing players to overcome that softness through grueling tasks like weed pulling analogies, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like the weed pulling analogy. What is that, If you've never had to pull weeds, by the way, it's the worst. We used to have gravel around our swimming pool. And you ever get them weeds where it's like it's going to cut your finger off? You're trying to pull it up, and it's like you can't get it up. It's stuck in the ground. And it's like you pull it up and it's like, it just keeps going. Oh, man, that's the worst. Fiery leadership and motivation, I think, as far as what about Rich Rod's day-to-day mentality? Having an intense presence like that in your presence every single day, that's old school. With it, she's got a chip on his shoulder. Obviously, the past departure is playing a big factor here. And I think he's had some funny rants. He's had some passionate rants. But I think Rich Rod has a personal drive himself and a chip on his shoulder to motivate. And also that underdog edge and hard edge that is kind of a stark contrast to Brown's more measured approach. Neal Brown was a very measured dude, to the point to where I was told by somebody that was close to the situation, Neal Brown knows what he's going to eat for lunch every single day. He knows it in advance, right, before he even goes, because he doesn't want to waste time. That's great. I think that's a great mindset to have. But the point is he's very measured in his approaches. The roster overhaul with gritty, low-down kind of players, right? The Fred Perrys of the world, right? Those kind of guys. If you're going to heavy roster turnover, if you're going to have heavy roster turnover, well, how about do it with recruits who fit the tough, purposeful mold? That's why you go get those JUCO guys that love eating cheese sandwiches, right? And I think this roster is prime for physical rebuild and some resilience. And hopefully he learned from his Jacksonville State 0-3 start last year to avoid the slow start and the inconsistencies to the end of the season that Brown had, which were slow to end the season, right? We don't want either around Chop. Let's go to break. On the other side, what we'll do is let's talk about Jesus a little bit. Something I didn't expect I'd ever do on this show, but honestly, I do want to see it. I want to show you guys a touching moment that happened at practice. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Wayfair. We talk about Wayfair around here not because we want to, but because we love to. Summer winding down. There's the easy or there's the hard way or there's the nice way to do things. Well, how about doing it the nice way and getting back into a routine you love where Wayfair can make it easy to set yourself up for the season ahead. From bedding and linens to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair is your one-stop shop to refresh your home. Get organized, refreshed, and back to the routine for way less. Head to Wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com, where you can go to Wayfair and have every style, every home. It's segment 2. Come crack a do with me, guys, as we jump into the Jesus freaks. Everybody remember DC Talk? If you're, you don't have to say if you don't want to, but I grew up in church, and there was a Christian band called DC Talk, and they had a really popular song. It went, "What would people think if they labeled me a Jesus freak? What would people think if they find out it's true? I don't really care if they label me a Jesus freak. There ain't no disguising the truth." And then they did a spoof on the song with like this old opera singer. And it was like, "What would people think if they found I'm a Jesus freak?" Like, it was the funniest thing, man. Oh, God. I know you guys probably like, please get this horrid stuff out of my earphones. All right, so let's get back to, I think I put it in Dylan's chat. No, I didn't either. WVU Scoop sent it to me, maybe, I think. I don't know. Yeah, here it is. Here's a video of somebody getting baptized. I don't know how much of it we're going to watch. I mean, it's a lot. It's on Avon Coborn's page. This is from Facebook. But what a cool thing. It's a little grainy, but just listen in. For those at home, just listen in. This is Jordan Scruggs getting baptized. Just a really cool thing if you're into that. If not, fast forward through this part.
Get your attention. We started a Bible study last semester. We continued it into the summer. One of the Bible studies, we talked about baptism, the significance, what it means. Right after, my man Scooter came up to me and said he wanted to be baptized. Now, didn't do it right away. Came up to me, said it again. Ironically, all three of us were in the same church service last week, and the title was Without Delay. And at that point, I felt like God was relaying a message to me saying, hey, we got to get this done. He's done asked you twice, and we've told you what you need to do. So I felt like this was a great week to do it. We talked to Scooter. He said he's all in. He wanted to do it in front of the team, hopefully make a powerful moment. We talked to Coach Rod. He gave us a blessing. Thank you, Coach Rod. We appreciate it. And
I just want to point out, there are some coaches that would have preferred that be done off campus. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I get it because you don't know, you're balancing everybody's beliefs under one roof, right? And so you don't, if you're not a believer, obviously if you believe in God, then you're not going to give this a second thought. But if you're not a believer and you're trying to respect people who do believe and people who don't, then you may give this more thought, right? Like, do you want to impose something like this on the entire team or whatever, that kind of stuff? I'm the kind of person that would probably overthink something like that, because you don't want to run anybody off. But at the same time, if you're a Christian, then it's your duty to talk about God, right? So I think at the end of the day, y'all, I'm definitely not here to preach at anybody. I'm by far not the person that should. But I just want to say, I've never seen, personally, I know other people may have. I've never seen God in something that fails. And so I feel like this is a good thing. Overall, I feel like it's something that, this kid, it shows a lot of character. It shows a lot of courage. It shows a lot. I'm just going to play the video. I'm getting emotional.
One of the best things that's happened out of this summer, him making this decision. And I think it's one of the best things for his life going forward. Right now, Josh is going to kind of explain what baptism is and how important it is.
Yeah, we see in Matthew 28, Jesus said, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. But baptism is an outward appearance of what's already happened inside of you. When you receive Christ, you become new. You are something different. Okay, God in you is something different. So this is just a symbol. As he goes under the water, his old self is dead. New self.
I want to listen to this, but it's a football show at the end of the day, guys. So let's go fast forward a little bit to where they get to the baptism. I just wanted to see it and kind of celebrate it with him and that. So here we go. We're clapping before he gets in. He's got him sitting in the tub here. Wow.
There you go. I accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. Jordan Shrug. I baptize you in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
Hallelujah! The whole team's there, y'all. You know what I mean? This is so cool. He's trying to play it off like, yeah, that's not a big deal. Here I am tearing up like a little baby. Apologies, you guys. I think it's a good idea for the whole team to bond over and everything. So that's a family atmosphere. That's right, Jeffrey. Whether you agree with what happened or not, and I totally understand if you don't. I'm not here to judge anybody. I just think that it shows the togetherness of this team. Probably not everybody believed it was there. I mean, maybe they do. But I would say the likelihood of it is probably, there were probably people on the fence there. So this is having a cyclical effect. This is as well as an outward effect of probably blessing a lot of different people there in attendance. And I think that this is something that it blessed me. So I just want to say that openly that I was very much moved by it. I like to say, like, on this show, we're more than just, we do a little bit of everything, right? We love the Mountaineers. We love our state. We love our players. We love each other. And I feel like, as a leader, somebody that I feel like leads you guys, because you guys come here to watch this, it's on me to put up content that, is good for the heart too, because a lot of times, like we're doing, like in the first segment, it's about Neal Brown being soft. Kind of a negative video in a way, right? And sometimes I got to be careful because I can get caught up in those headlines. I can get caught up in trying to get the next big show and all that. And I certainly don't want to make a habit of trying to outdo myself every show, and just kind of be honest with you guys about things and do the next honest thing, or as we say in recovery, the next right thing. So that's it. I appreciate you guys for letting me do that. Let's go to break. We'll do a little palate cleanser. We'll go to break, and we'll start talking football on the other side. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel, y'all. When we talk about FanDuel, we talk about doing it big, of course. Because right now, August 26th is officially FanDuel's Futures Day. A brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions, whether you're calling to your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ for week one. The event, even kickoffs, you can bet on. This is your moment. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is day one and one day only. Sorry, it's one day and one day only, where you can go to FanDuel today. Play your game. Sorry, guys. I kind of jacked that read up a little bit. I was still trying to recover from that last segment just a little bit. Okay, so we've had a lot happen today, haven't we? We've actually this week, if you really want to look at it back in total, I think maybe it's, if I would have thought about it beforehand, I was rushing trying to get here to you guys. But so I think if you go back and look at the total week, we had a commitment in basketball. We had several football commitments, 3. Pretty interesting. All of them, I think, obviously the running back, how does he say his name again? Jacklick, or however he says it. I'll have to go back and look. Actually, I've got the roster pulled up here somewhere, don't I? I've always got the roster pulled up. Okay, so let's go by position. How does he say his name? We'll figure it out in a second here. Oh, I remember what I wanted to do a segment on. I just remembered, guys. So we'll probably go ahead and do that since I'm already on the roster. I think I saw Skylar Callahan put it out, and I was like, yeah, I think I've done something like this before. But guys, we're just to the point to where, honestly, unless Rich Rod gives me content or something to talk about, it's to the point to where we've talked about every single part of this roster so many times now that, there's nothing I can do that's new, really. A lot of the stuff we're just having to do over again. It's just fine. Definitely not saying it's, I don't see him on the roster yet. Maybe, let's see, Ty Edwards, Dior Hubbard, Sincere Bowers, Clay Ash, Cannon Katzer. Yeah, I don't see him on the roster yet. Anyways, well, there's Cannon Katzer back down here at running back. Jordan Walker. Yeah, no, they don't have him on here yet. Okay. So what I thought I would do, though, because Skylar Callahan kind of put out a list of okay, Vex Tex, thank you for that. If that's one of your best buds, hook me up, man. If you know how to get a hold of me on X, it's this link right here. I'd love to have him on. It's at Paul Mountaineer. So, thank you, Big Nothing. Appreciate it. Good to see you as well. So, Vextex, if you want to, hit me up on there, man, and we'll make it happen. If you want to get on here, we can talk about God or whatever. I'm all for it. As you guys know, I already talk about addiction all the time. One of the biggest pieces to that is finding a God, right? Finding God of your the way they word it is of your understanding. Most people find Jesus, but there are people that worship other things and recover. So, but that's on them, right? I'm not here to judge. They say things like you can make a doorknob your higher power, or whatever. I don't really go that far with it, but some people do. All right, so let me get this out of here now. Skylar Callahan put up his, what was it? It was a good idea, but I think I've done something like it a couple times. It was something like, these are 5 guys that are underrated, or, you know what I mean? Like, not your typical. It's not like Sincere Bowers is who's like Sincere Bowers. I was the first one on his train. I think we can prove that because I interviewed him 5 months ago, something like that. But you know, I feel like he's no longer off the radar, right? So it would be like him, except back whenever he was off the radar. So players like that I think are really good, that can make an impact that maybe we haven't talked about a lot. So that's going to take a little bit of doing, but we're going to try to go over the list. So let's move this screen off and get this screen here on. Bang. All right, so let's start at the top, right? We'll move down, and I'll just point out a guy every time we come across one that's under the radar, right? How much time are we at here? We're already at 26, so we'll have to make it quick as we can. We'll be able to go another 10 minutes, though. So Brayton Siders is not under the radar, in my opinion. Curtis Jones Jr. is, and I would place him on that list. I mean, I could probably make the list pretty long if I wanted to, but I would say Curtis Jones Jr. is one of those underrated people that could make an impact. I don't think it's going to be this year, personally, unless he's just much better than I thought. Based on his high school tape, I wonder how much he's progressed on his pass rushing. We're going to find out. I would consider Devontae Golden Nelson on that list as well. These are unsung preseason guys. Like we've all heard about Michael Coates Jr. Jordan Scruggs, who we just saw baptized, has gotten a lot of preseason pub from Pro Football Focus. Golden Nelson, you know, I'll be honest with you. I had a guy message me that's a former NFL and college corner, and he said well, he loves Golden Nelson Jr. more than Coates. That's what he says. So listen, this is a guy that played at both levels. I'm not kidding. So that one shakes me when he said that. You know what I mean? Like that. If that's the case, we've got 3 really good corners then. Because I know Jordy Scruggs can play. I know Michael Coates can play. Golden Nelson I know can play too, but it's like it's not his tape. He doesn't have a ton, right? He's got like one little highlight. You can go watch games and stuff, which I've done, but yeah, let's move on. So Ty Crutcher, not expecting anything from him yet this year. Nick Taylor's a super interesting story because he played in 7 games last year at App State, but I don't know if he's ready to just yet. Keyshawn Robinson's a name we've heard some from. He's going to be interesting. Jason Chambers, I do expect to see something out of him. I do think he's going to make some kind of impact. I don't know how big, I don't know, but I expect him to make something. Dwayne Galloway Jr., not yet. Jaden Bell is an interesting one. I've heard that he expects him to play a little bit, but I don't know how that happened. But yeah, so I'm not going to put him on the list, but he's the one I'm noting. Joey Robinson, I'm just kidding. Eddie Kelly Jr., obviously not under the radar. Wilnerson Telemack, I don't think is ready just yet. Taylor Brown, I don't know if he's under the radar anymore because I've talked about him a lot. True freshman. I love this kid. I think he can really play. He's a great pass rushing defensive lineman. He's going to be interesting to check out. Obviously, Corey McIntyre Jr., would you consider him underrated or not? I mean, 2 years ago, he would have started on our defensive line had he been healthy. And then last year, he would have started had he been healthy. Now he's healthy again. We just kind of hope that he doesn't get injured again. But I don't know if I can put him on the list because I don't know how healthy he is. We just don't have anything to go off of. But, I got to mark him down as one to watch for sure. Jackson Beiser, I have no idea, honestly. It could be. We heard him say the other day he's made a couple plays in camp, but definitely not under the. I don't consider him an under the radar guy. Nick Gabriel is an interesting because I don't consider him under the radar. Like I feel like he kind of flashed last year, and he's the guy that I'm expecting to be good this year. He's not under the radar for me. Neither is Devin Grant. He's been brought into pass rush, and he's going to do that, and he's going to do it well. Sonny Redwood's an interesting one because I think he's been here for years now. This will be his third year, I believe, with the program, if not his fourth. No, it'll be his third. So, obviously, we know what we're getting there. He's a good player, but I wouldn't put him on the list of underrated guys. Elijah Simmons absolutely goes on the list. I love Elijah Simmons, y'all. I think he's one of my – I told you guys, I've got like 7 or 8 guys that I consider – and that list keeps changing because Sincere Bowers is off it now because I think he's already – everybody's expecting a lot of Sincere now, that people like me and other people I think whenever Eugene Napoleon came out and said what he said about Sincere Bowers, I think that really put a lot of people on notice for him. So, obviously he's off the list because he's into expectations land now. As to whereas before he was like, I'm telling you, he could do something. So Elijah Simmons is in that mold where I'm telling you he can do something, right? He's a terrific defensive lineman. He's coming out of JUCO, so that's always a tough judge. But, I mean, he's explosive. He can also pass rush a little bit. We've got guys that can pass rush all over the field. We really do. Quentin Goins is an interesting one. I'm not ready to put him on that list yet. Eddie V is definitely not on that list. He's like he better produce or we're going to be in probably in trouble if he's not at least good. Adam Tomczyk is an interesting one because I just think that I'll put him on the list. I like Adam Tomczyk. I think he's going to produce this year. I think he'll be in the rotation at defensive end. And I don't know. Outside of that, I don't know. I don't have any expectation for him, like sacks-wise, because he's more of an edge setting. He can pass rush a little bit. I know there are a lot of people that like Brandon Caesar out there. I'm not ready to say he's going to be good this year. Hammond Russell's a starter. We're not putting him under the radar. I'm going to skip special teams. I just think that it's not boring. I just don't think we'll wait till the season to discuss special teams as much. John Lewis might be one of the most interesting ones on the list because athletically, pedigree-wise, everything you can look at. He was a 4-star guy coming out of high school. Then he's gone on to have a couple decent years here and there, but he's never really shown out for a bunch of different reasons, injuries, different stuff. So he's going to be interesting. Ben Cutter, I feel like, has expectations. I think he's going to play. He's going to be in the linebacker rotation. There's no doubt about it. Michael Hasty, freshman, is going to move on. Chase Wilson is, in my opinion, I've got the most expectations for him over almost anybody on the entire defense. He's in that top 2 or 3, right? Like Chase Wilson, I told you guys, I had a conversation with Chase Wilson, and he told me the recruiting pitch to him was Danny Stutzman. Danny Stutzman is 8th all-time in Sooners history in tackles with almost 400 career tackles. So just put that in perspective. That's who they see this kid as. Now, Danny Stutzman runs a 4.5. Chase Wilson, I don't think he's quite that fast. He's probably more like a 4.7. We can look it up. I think their numbers are out there, but that's just my guess based on my vision, what my vision tells me. Like I've gotten pretty decent at it. Well, let's just look it up. Let's just look it up and see how close I am to it because I would just like to know. Let's see, Danny Stutzman 40 time. Because that dude can absolutely fliz-eye. 4.52. Bam! I was right on the nose there. Hold on. 4.52 at the combine. Well, nice. Okay. That was a guess just based on film study, to be honest. I had no clue what his 40 time was. I know what his tackles were. And then Chase. Okay, Chase Wilson. I've already looked his 40 time up. So what is it? Colorado State 40 time. So I must. Okay. So it is 4.7. So I must be recalling that. Okay, so his is a 4.7 as well, but I've already looked it up. But anyway, so it's 4.7. So there is a difference between their speed, right? 4.5 and 4.7 are two pretty different numbers, but 4.7 is moving. It's not slow for a linebacker at all. Chase Wilson can run, but like, can he be Danny Stutzman? No, I don't think that's a fair comparison to make. He could be a poor man's Danny Stutzman, though. He can definitely be that. Because Danny Stutzman had just 1 year. I mean, let's look at what year did he? Sorry. I did it again. So, okay. I'm getting off my. So, all right, are you guys able to see this? Yeah, you are. Okay. Danny Stutzman. Okay, 2024 stats. I think I could type for a second. Goodness gracious. So he had 109 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, and 1 sack in 12 games. That's pretty dang good. We'll definitely take that from Chase Wilson this year, right? So we'll definitely take that out of Chase. I think he's definitely capable of getting to something like those numbers. Absolutely. Let's speed up the rest of this. As you guys know, Ben Bogle is probably my number 1 or number 2 overall pick, right? I love his tape so much. I think he's going to make a major impact for us. As him and Reed Carrico are both going to play a lot of snaps. How big of an impact Bogle makes depends on how much they rotate with each other, because they're going to rotate with each other. Caden Beiser is an interesting one. So is Ashton Woods. I don't think Ashton Woods is a year away personally. Caden Beiser he's right there with Ben Cutter as another linebacker that, he doesn't have a ton of athletic ability, in my opinion. But I do expect him to be good. I definitely don't expect him to be bad. He's a little bit on the slower side, Cam Torber is on the list, baby. You guys already know I love that kid. No to Ken Zeller. Obviously, Fred Perry, we're expecting a lot from. I don't know how you guys feel about Will Davis, but he's on the list. So he's probably like 6 or 7 of the guys, 6th or 7th, I think, that I picked. But I love him at nickel safety. I do a lot. I think it's a great spot for him. Zay Jennings is probably still another year away, in my opinion. I would love to say that he's ready this year, but his coach in the press conference today said he's still got some work to do. Nick Craze is so interesting, y'all, really, because he's going to start, right, at redshirt sophomore. So I think, obviously he can't be on – he's starting, in my opinion. So, none of the offensive linemen really I have on there. I mean, I think they're all good. So, for the most part, all of them that are starting are good enough. I don't have any that I think are going to be major, big-time Wyatt Milam type years or anything. So, maybe Crawford could do that. Maybe Tykees Crawford could do that. Xavier Bosley, I still think if he's given a chance, will do big things. Unfortunately, I think he is number 2 behind Crawford right now. And that's probably it, I think. Scotty Fox. Scotty Fox is on the list too. Love Scotty Fox, man. Running backs wise, Cannon Katzer, definitely on there. Definitely on there. And then Jordan Walker at safety. I believe will be our starting safety, and I don't even question it. And then the last person is Darren Lewis. As you all know, I love Darren Lewis, man, to the point to where I've got him as one of our highest rated players. So there's like 11 or 12 guys right there for you that I really like. We'll see what happens with them all, but Darren Lewis is a guy that, man, his tape is really good. He's just a bit undersized, you know, but hopefully we get the production out of these guys that we need, because if we do, then we are going to be a much better football team than people are thinking, because we'll actually have some depth, and that's what we really need, y'all. All right, guys, thanks for joining in for another episode. I appreciate y'all tonight. I got to jump off here and get these all downloaded to podcast before midnight so I can have my daily duties done, and I will see you guys tomorrow after practice. I think they have a scrimmage tomorrow, so we'll have a lot to discuss. Hopefully we get a little bit of details on what happened. Nobody gets injured, thankfully, hopefully, and we will talk tomorrow, guys. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen. Make sure you check out Locked On Portal before you go. Hit the like button on your way out the door. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and drop a comment below if you have anything to say about everything, guys. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Good night.